This week on Media Delta, Lupin the Third, The Secret of Mamo. Hello and welcome to another episode of Media Delta. We are talking about a franchise that is big depending upon who you talk to, because this is a franchise that is very popular, definitely in Japan,
Let's ask
and
Italy.
also Italy and Spain and France.
Wasn't it so popular in Italy that like the one of the
Oh,
recent
yeah.
animes, they just start airing first there?
Yeah, it's the case of like Saint Seiya in Brazil or like Captain
God.
Tsubasa in Brazil.
Fucking
Um,
South America fucking loves Saint Seiya.
yeah,
They do. They love Saint Seiya and Sailor Moon.
yeah,
And Captain Tsubasa.
yeah. But yeah, we're talking about a Lupin the Third movie today. Not the one that most people are familiar with to start out with, but we're actually technically starting with the first Lupin the Third movie, because this is a franchise that has had a bunch of OVAs and movies. I think there was one one every other year since like 81. There is a lot of movies of Lupin the Third. And the one we're taking a look at is technically the first, even though it's not one that people are really familiar with, at least I see, in comparison to like a lot of other discussion of Lupin the Third. Most people are probably familiar with Castle Cagliostro, for good reason. It's Hayao Miyazaki animated, and it's just a really good movie. But that was actually the second one. The first one is great because it is a movie that doesn't have a consistent name. The DVD that I have refers to it as Lupin the Third, The Secret of Mamo, but Wikipedia refers to it as The Mystery of Mamo.
Actually, Wikipedia says both are correct.
Both are correct, which is also great because you think it's like, oh, I wonder if they just translated it from like it was like Lupin Sensei Mamo no Nazo, which always gets really translated. Actually, in Japan, it was called Lupin the Third, Lupin versus the Clone. So,
Which isn't wrong, but
It's not
also a
wrong.
weird spoiler.
yeah,
Very strange. It's like, well, I guess I need to watch this now.
You're not wrong, but why would you say it?
yeah. But essentially, that is the movie. We are watching what? Secret of Mamo, Mystery of Mamo.
Uh,
The one with the blue guy in it.
Also, to be fair, you forgot to mention it was originally just titled in Japan Lupin the Third.
Oh, right. Yes, I see that now.
Nice.
But yeah.
I don't know if that's better or worse.
No
God.
feelings.
But yeah. I, as you can tell, was not the only one who watched this. So please introduce yourselves.
Guess I'll go first. Blah blah blah. Tidal wave. Hi, I'm Donut. Donut Seeker, your local JRPG nerd. This was a great time.
I'm Torpitypus. I'm going to go to the one place untouched by capitalism. Space!
Yes. So,
oh, this one.
This movie is, it's not quite weird, but it's like, it's fascinating to watch because it's hard to, like, if you're not familiar with who Lupin the Third is, if this is the first time you've heard of Lupin the Third, Lupin the Third was originally a manga by a author named Monkey Punch.
Which is a good name.
Lupin the Third, who is the descendant of Arsène Lupin, the protagonist of like 1900 era, a French, like basically Arsène Lupin was like a France's answer to Master Thief.
Mhm.
I think
The
I
Gentleman
might add-
Thief.
Gentleman Thief. This caused legal issues at one point.
It sure did.
so. I keep on wanting to say Maurice LaMarche, but that's not the guy's name. Maurice LeBlanc's Arsène Lupin that he was the original author, and when these movies were coming out, this also might have something to do with why it has so many different names. When these movies were first coming out, so this movie came out in 1978. Also, You know what? Actually, let me go back to what to actually explaining what Lupin the Third is. So Lupin the Third, basically predicated on being the basically the grandson of Arsène Lupin, is a gentleman thief like his grandfather. Wearing
I would
I would
not sure
argue
about
he
gentlemen. I would
he lost
argue
a little bit
gentlemen.
of that.
the quote unquote gentleman thief, which in actuality in 70s standards, actually, well, in nowadays standards, a real creep.
He was a legendary
Very
thief and a
creep.
master of disguise is the big thing.
Yes. Kind of a goofball, but not kind of a goofball, a major goofball, but is actually somewhat competent when it comes to it.
He's the
Yeah, he's
goofball,
very
but he's
competent.
also a lot more savvy than he lets on.
Yeah. Kind of similar to Cobra, which we talked about earlier.
Yeah, actually. I mean, it was a type. It was a type for a while.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, he is usually joined by two kind of partners in crime. He is Jigen, who I don't believe has any analog. He is a man with a very pronounced beard and a hat which is almost always covering his eyes, whose main thing is that he is a very good sharpshooter with his revolver.
He is also the voice of reason.
Yes.
He's also very handsome.
And always
Also,
smoking.
yes, also smoking. Also, he is joined by, I believe it's Goemon Ishikawa the 13th.
Yep.
Who is meant to be a descendant of the, the thief that, Goemon Ishikawa, who is I think he was an actual person, right?
Yeah, he was like
Yeah.
he was like a Robin Hood figure, and his notable thing was, taken from the rich, given to the poor, and the fact that they boiled him alive.
Yeah, viciously executed.
Vicious.
Also the same Goemon that the Konami character is based off of.
That's why they gave him ice powers in Persona 5, because
there's a fuckload of characters based off of Goemon.
Yep.
Konami character's my favorite.
Yeah, and in
It's
this one, Goemon is a long-haired kind of swordsman wearing usually, I forgot what it's called, but it's traditional Japanese garb, and he has a sword known as the Zentetsu that can cut damn near anything.
What's that called?
I say almost anything as in this movie. Apparently, there are some things that I can't cut. And there's also a fourth character who is infamous that is not technically part of the gang, but ends up getting involved with them anyway. Fujiko Mine, who
the
is
femme fatale.
Yes, very much a femme fatale.
He's a hot mess.
Hottest mess. Sexy, hot mess.
She varies wildly from incredibly competent to completely useless.
Yeah.
Depending on the given one. This is the one where she's not quite as useful.
Yep. Also, the gang is always chased by a Interpol agent named Zenigata, who is
fucking bloodhound.
Yeah.
I bet he's best friends with Chun-Li, though.
Also, I will say very fast, the thing about Junko 2, not Junko, wow, why do I want to say that? Fuck me! Fujiko! Is that she plays Lupin like a fucking fiddle constantly.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's a horny piece of shit.
Yes. Lupin the Third is very horny.
Very horny, as we see.
Yeah, also, generally, like, early on, they would eventually file off the edge a bit, but he was very sexual salty.
Oh, yeah. In the original manga, yeah, it's... You could tell the era that first manga was made, because there's a lot of things that's like, oh, that doesn't fly now.
Yeah, there's a lot of Lupin, no, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Maybe call the police for this one.
Someone. I know you mostly steal, but also that is a
Zenigata, we need you to arrest him for different reasons, please.
Well, also the general thing is, like, Lupin is a thief, but generally ends up working towards the greater good, typically. In terms of, like, a lot of these movies, at least.
Yeah, that's where his gentleman factor comes in hard.
Doesn't respect women, though.
Yeah. Also, yeah. General plot. These things are kind of formulaic a little bit.
Also, just to mention it really quick, this was done by the anime crew, and it definitely shows because it does feel like another episode of the anime.
Yeah,
lengthened.
Yeah, the crew that worked on this worked, I believe, mostly on Lupin the Third Part 1, which is an early 70s Lupin. Although I'm not super familiar with how this works, but you can track the era of Lupin by the color of his jacket.
Nice.
The first one was the pink era, which is the Lupin Third Part 1, which is what this show worked on. This, I believe, was the start of the red jacket era, which is mostly Lupin the Third Part 2, which is the series that probably most people are familiar with. Because it was the first one that was translated into, well, the first one that got popular when it got translated to English. Because there has actually been 4 English dubs of this movie.
There have been a bunch of English dubs of Lupin in general.
Yeah. This one in particular had 4 different releases. There was a Hong Kong English one that came out roughly when the movie came out. That was done by Toho themselves, which I've not found any version of it. There is Streamline Pictures tried to do this one. It actually was oddly enough because it actually did use Lupin the Third as his name.
I think it was the Toho one that never actually had any voice credits, so nobody could ever figure out who actually did the voices for it.
Yeah, I think it took a while. I think they had to like backtrack or like just do a bunch of cross-referencing to figure out who it was. And yeah, Streamline Pictures, which if you're not familiar with what Streamline Pictures is, it was the company that was headed by Carl Masek, who is infamous for butchering a lot of it was like, if you are familiar with the reputation that 4Kids has, Streamline Pictures was very similar, except it wasn't quite as kid focused. They did cut out a lot of stuff that made it a little bit more friendlier for like general audiences. I don't know how you would do that in this movie, but yeah, they generally did tone down the stuff. If you're familiar with the treatment if you're familiar with the story behind Robotech in Macross, that is a Streamline Pictures joint. So they have a history of doing things to anime that makes them not quite as faithful.
But the fuck out of it.
Yeah, not like saying that localization is bad, but they did not do that great of a job on it.
It's not as palatable.
There was also Manga Entertainment. Did it in let's see, it's 1996. And the Streamline ones was 95. The Manga Entertainment one apparently was the one in which he was referred to as Wolf the Third.
Once again, because of legal issues, the LeBlanc estate was very litigious for a while.
Yep.
Especially because Lupin was actually never got the rights for it because like originally the original Lupin the Third, because Japan doesn't really enforce overseas copyright.
Yeah. And then the last one, which is the one that we watched, and it's the one that you're likely going to find, and also probably the best one, is, I believe it's Genion is the company that did it. Now NBC Universal Japan.
Yep. The other thing too is apparently there was a Discotheque media release on DVD that contained all 4 dubs.
Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Back in 2013.
Yeah, because I think this Genion one was 2003.
This is before essentially the death of Genion.
Yeah. And this is the one that came out around the time when Lupin the Third Part 2 was translated over, or was redubbed over here, and got pretty popular on like Adult Swim.
Forever the voice I will associate with Lupin because it's just such a good Lupin voice.
Tony Oliver does actually basically the main 5. Actually, really everyone has really good voice acting in this movie. The one thing I will say right off the bat about the English dub that I know some people might not like, although it has a weird charm to it, it is very referential. Especially not so much in this one. It's not as bad in this dub, but in the Lupin the Third Part 2 dub that Genion did, incredibly modern referential. And I should say modern as in 2003. As in, you could tell that this was done in 2003.
Yeah. There's some references that are very spot on.
Yeah, like the fact that the president of the United States is a character in this movie, and
Very obviously Bush.
yeah, it's actually funny because it actually changes throughout the various dubs. Because I believe there's one in which they try and have him be like Carter, and one in which he is also, I believe it's the manga one, which he is Clinton, and then I think the first one is just a dude,
A dude.
just like
Just a
not anyone in particular. But yeah, that is one thing that these dubs kind of do that might throw some people off. But other than that, incredibly good dub. The voice actors for the main five do such a good job that most of them are the voice of the characters even till today. I don't think any of them, because I know Michelle Ruff still does it. I think Lex Lang still does Goemon. I believe that they're all five of the main characters are still, the same. Oh, also, I should also go back to my earlier thing, which I didn't know if Zenigata was based on someone. Zenigata is actually based on a Japanese character from like pretty old. Like I think like let's see, Heiji, like a fictional character from like the Edo period. Or no, actually, okay, well, I'm doing it on the brink, or not on the brink, but some spot checking of stuff. But yeah, he's based on like a series of he's created in 1931 in Japan. So
He's named after a very famous Japanese detective, Zenigata Heiji.
yep. So yeah. Kind of going more into this because I guess we'll just kind of do this in the same way we do most of our other things. So Donut, what did you think about this movie?
I thought it was pretty good. When I was growing up, I watched a lot of Lupin the Third on like Adult Swim, along with like Shin Chan. So I've always had quite a big, big, good. I'm sorry. I've always had really good, positive feelings about Lupin. I had a cat named Lupin. I loved him. He was wonderful. So yeah, I'm usually pretty positive on most aspects of this movie. Yeah, the 2003 thing. It's aged interestingly. I like that a few characters were rather insulted by being called Democrats. It was
Like I said, you could tell when this movie came out.
You can tell you can definitely tell when this movie came out. I think anything notable about it was I do really enjoy how it really felt like just an extension of the show. So, if you watch this first, you get the gist of what it's about. If you watch it after you watch a few episodes of the show, you're along for the ride. It hits all the spots you need to with Lupin, all of his wonderful antics and incompetence, followed by extreme competence. Just wow, look at you. You're doing Lord's work, Lupin. You're taking out those big brains. All puns intended. I feel like
the like just doing a job, then getting it over his head, and then somehow saving the day.
just like wow, this has gone completely south for you, Lupin. How are you gonna get out of it this time? Well, look at that. You
Oh, that
done
Lupin.
did it. You did it again. I wish Fujiko was a little more consistent in this one because it's like she's just playing the femme fatale role because they just wanted to have a fun, big-chested lady there to play the femme fatale. Like she doesn't really feel like she's more than a set piece in this. She's just
She
there to like
honestly ends up being a damsel, actually.
yeah, she's a
Yeah.
damsel, either damsel of distress, or she's just being shitty and making herself a damsel by being shitty to Lupin for little reason.
In her defense, there is the one scene
Yeah,
where he's real shitty.
Yeah.
it's a good thing that she decided that time to be shitty. Of all the times for her to drug Lupin for her own means, good on her because he was getting a little too grabby there. That wasn't okay, Lupin.
It was actually kind of uncomfortable.
I love how much of this movie is just like bits of Akira. where you're like, who's this weird alien child? You look like the kids from Akira. Then you see more of them, and you're like, oh, okay, I see where this plot's going. This is a fun time. Um, I'm trying to get through. I feel like these days it's hard to look back at Lupin without making any like obvious fucking Persona references. So I'm trying to stray very hard from that. Um, Flavor wise, I like this movie. I'm trying to think of like parts that I don't like, parts that I dissect, but like it was just a fun roller coaster ride of Lupin. That kind of has a slow build up, but the second he's eating out at some French restaurant and starts getting gunned down by millions guns, you're already there. Like you're already there for the adventure. Um, just it's very strange how this movie is both Dragon Ball Z World's Strongest and Akira, but those are cool movies too. That's about all I got for it. We already covered voice actors and such.
Okay. Torpo, what do you think?
I honestly, I really enjoyed it. Uh, so the thing I've always enjoyed about these is sort of, I wouldn't call it over animation, but like the exaggerated movements and animation of like the characters and how they move, real goofy and all that. I've actually always really liked that. It's always been one of those things I actually super appreciate about Lupin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Monkey Punch's noodle style is really good.
Yeah, I love it. You don't get it a
Yeah.
lot anymore. We got it in Devilman Crybaby, and people were weird about it. I loved
Okay, to be
it.
fair, it looked really bad in that.
It did, but I still loved it.
It's the thing that you can tell that this was made by if it's based on a manga that was done before. I don't want to say standards were set, but it's the one of those anime that's like you can tell that this was made in a era in which it wasn't like codified. Like this anime designs weren't like
It was
codified.
it was back when anime was definitely a lot more cartoony, before it
Yeah.
became sort of like crystallized as it is now.
Yeah, before it started being like, 80s clamp faces and
But
shonen.
back when it was based largely on cartoons.
Mhm.
Yep. It's not like the era of like I would say probably because in the I would say like in 80s and or like mid
Mhm.
80s to like the 90s where you could tell like most like 90 I would say 98% of anime kind of didn't look the same, but it was like the same like structure
It
of
was
like
it was
Big
character
relatively
design.
sharp
accurate.
skins, big hair,
Yeah,
all the
over time it's
jewels.
gotten more and more homogenous stylistically.
But
That was
yeah,
the weird Moe Blob era, but we don't talk about that.
it also wasn't the really weird 2000 to 2005 era in which every anime looked identical.
Yeah, that was a
Mhm.
weird time. That's when certain shows really stood out, like Witch Hunter Robin and things that kind
Fully
of
Cooley.
Fooly Cooly, things
Which,
that
speaking of Fooly Cooley, I'm just always reminded of how in Fooly Cooley, the dad at one point just has a discussion with himself about which Lupin is superior.
well, that's a fun question. Which one do you think is superior? Green
And
jacket, red jacket?
I've always liked the look of the red jacket a lot more.
Me too.
Yeah, the red jacket is just, I mean, it's the first one that I saw. But
Same.
stuff
Same.
that the green jacket, I mean, green jacket's Cagliostro, which is already like we are going to take a look at that at some point, and I can guarantee you that is going to rank much higher than this movie is.
To be fair, this movie is good. Funny enough, it also has the same budget as Castle of Cagliostro.
Yep. Which the guy who worked on the main director of this did like he wasn't like some person that didn't do much. Let me get the let's see. Let me make sure I can get the name correct. Soji Yoshikawa is the director of this. Worked on a lot of stuff. Like he worked mostly as a screenwriter and a storyboard artist. He has three things to his name as a director. He has multiple episodes of Tomorrow's Joe, also known as Ashita no Joe. He has this movie, and he's Kirby Right Back at You, which is an interesting trio of things. But he also has like screenwriter stuff on like say Rosa Versailles, City Hunter, Cyborg 009, the Ultraman, the Lensman anime, which is kind of infamous.
Lensman. Wow. I
Um,
wasn't expecting to hear that.
Armor Trooper Votoms, which I kind of want to watch at one point. But anyway, yeah, the guy has done stuff. Also, Lupin the Third Part 1. But yes. I forgot what we were talking about.
Yeah. Oh, either way, let's
Lupin
go
the
on with.
Third.
Oh, of course. Which also, Lupin the Third theme, fucking fantastic. Always,
Oh, yes.
forever. But I will say, yeah. So the plot of this is pretty straightforward. Lupin starts a heist, gets a strange rock, and ends up in over his head after a fucking some group tries gutting him down at a restaurant. So he starts following. Ends up in fucking Egypt somehow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was kind of not. I was kind of having a little trouble trying to keep up. I was like, okay, wait, why are they here?
The
now?
movie's a little bit disjointed, and it's kind of frustrating at times.
Yeah.
The Egypt one is one of the ones that really sticks out. Of just like, how the fuck why are we here? And then
Yeah.
eventually they get to the first island base. The first island base.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
See,
What?
now that you
How-
say this, I feel like I blacked out half the movie and just like only remembered the good parts because I'm just like there were 2 island bases.
There were
G-
2
G-
island bases.
G-
There was a
Mamo.
time skip too, right? Because remember Zenigata was like, "Well, it's
Oh, right.
yeah,
So,
Lupin. It's been half a year since we last saw you." I'm like, "What
Yeah.
the fuck?"
also to point out, because it's something I somehow completely forgot. This movie starts with Lupin the Third getting hanged.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
And then fucking Zenigata goes to his like fucking weird ass crypt, and come to find out, oh no, it wasn't actually Lupin that died. Except it was. It was. We
Yeah.
learned it's a fucking clone.
I did they say that, or was that Lupin the Third just Lupin trying to just get out of getting arrested by Zenigata?
No, that was later in the movie when it's like, yeah, it's a clone. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, I'm gonna backtrack some things I said. This was a really great movie in terms of just like Lupin the Third and this, but plot wise, yeah, after we get to Egypt, everything just kind of falls apart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So let's fucking go.
This is a
Deal with
movie
it.
that it's like, oh, this is a fun ride. It's also very stupid.
Yeah, because you get to the part where Mamo's like, I want to create perfect beings like Adam and Eve with Fujiko, and Fujiko's like, wait, what? I don't remember this part of the plot.
Yeah,
And
no, it's initially it's like, I want to live forever. I want the Philosopher's Stone, and then the Adam and Eve thing comes up. But that's at the second island base.
yeah, there we go. That was the first part, Philosopher's Stone, because that part just gets forgotten.
Yeah,
at some
because then we
point.
learn that like it's a series. Mamo is a series of clones for some
Mhm.
reason because he's trying to achieve immortality through cloning.
That's his mystery. Yeah, because he has that weird pocket hallway of Akira children who try to attack people with scythes and
also-
guns.
Mamo definitely looks like one of the children from Akira because like he's older looking, he's blue in the face, he's tiny, he's got the
Mhm.
white hair that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's certainly it's a look.
But yeah, so also fuck, was it Zenigata who got like kidnapped by the Navy and was hanging out with them?
Yeah. Well, I feel like they all kind of communicate with the Navy at some point because they were like, "Hey, this Mamo guy's kind of fucked up."
Yes, it was Lupin and gang who got fucking kidnapped by the Navy and then sent off to Mamo, the
Yeah.
first island base. So that goes great because the Navy ends up fucking bombing the shit out of it. They carpet bomb the entire fucking island, and Lupin and gang are like, we gotta get out. And then somehow they end up in the second island base of Mamo, which is where we learn about the Adam and Eve plot with Fujiko, because he has a giant arsenal of nukes.
He has so many, and he also has one more giant thing.
Yes, but before we do that, Lupin then sabotages the nukes on the island, causing them to go off.
Oh,
And it's like the way they show it. It's like And like it's fine. They're just missiles, so they'll just blow up, but they'll just blow up tiny, like, and not nuclear explosion.
Yeah, because Mamo's idea is essentially, hey, I'm gonna nuke the planet so only me and Fujiko are left, and we'll do Adam and Eve. And Lupin comes in, and then Mamo's like, I said Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
Jeez.
Did he actually say that? And I forgot
No,
about it.
fuck no, God no.
See, that's where you can tell with this dub that
Because you never know.
it just sounds like something that this dub would do.
No, it really
for a second, I was like, wait, what did I miss?
No. But Mamo gets really fucking angry. It's also around here where we find Lupin getting attacked and then murdering the shit out of a Mamo clone and learning about the whole Mamo clone project, which nobody ends up really caring about because
Nobody.
we're not really sure about which Mamo is the real Mamo, and it ends up not mattering because we find the real Mamo eventually as the U.S. starts carpet bombing the second island, which is full of nukes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We want a drum roll for telling us what Mamo's mystery was, Torpin.
Look, all I'm saying is only Mamo has the brains to rule Island.
Yeah, it's like...
Because, like, the big reveal is that Mamo is this super fucking huge brain for some reason.
Brain. And it's like you feel it coming, you see, like, a reveal coming, and you're like, well, this is early on, so this is probably some dumbass video game shit. Is it a giant face? Is it a giant hand? It's a giant fucking brain.
This wasn't early on. This was the end of the movie, actually.
Oh, I meant, like, early on, like,
yeah, what's the big mystery of Mamo? At the very
Mm-hmm.
beginning, it's like, oh, it's probably cloning, right? And yes, it was cloning, but then also Mamo's a giant brain. The whole cloning thing makes no fucking sense because it didn't matter.
I just love this era of movies where, like, the big reveal's always a giant something.
Yeah.
And so, fucking Mamo decides to, you know what? I'm gonna launch myself into space and just be a brain in space, I guess, and then eventually come back. Or something. Because he said
he said he wanted to go out to the far reaches of the universe and absorb God, and then come back and rule everyone. And Lupin, in a
real weird,
super weird. And Lupin, in his one act of competence that day, manages to slam a nice little explosive onto the glass before it blasts off.
And so eventually the brain gets into space, and it's like, oh, he got into space, and then you get a quick close-up of the bomb, and it's like, you Lupin! And then the glass fucking shatters, and the brain just floats off into the sun.
Floats off.
Just fucking floats into the sun.
Meanwhile, those Navy missiles, they're still going.
Yeah. I don't get it. There's something I want to talk about that particular scene, but I'll get to that when I end up talking.
Oh, yeah. I did forget to mention that Mamo had a bodyguard who fought fucking Goemon and broke his sword because he was wearing armor.
Yeah, he was wearing, like, I wanted to say, like, mail, but it looked like it was made out of,
he said it was like a steel alloy or something like that.
It looks really, like, have you ever seen the movie Commando and Bennett's chainmail thing and how stupid that looked? Imagine it looking about 20 times dumber.
Yeah, the dude gets murdered anyway, but fucking Goemon's sword chipped, and the chip Lupin picks up and eventually becomes a plot point during the rocket sequence.
Oh,
when
yes.
Mamo goes to fucking shoot him with a laser, and fucking Lupin rebounds it with the tip of the sword he had.
And it melts him. It melts him for like a solid 5 minutes.
He's on fire for a long time.
In his ashes.
This is normal Mamo who goes to shoot him. This is just before the brain reveal. And fucking Mamo is on fire forever.
He's just talking, just living a whole life, slow burning.
Yeah.
And then a tiny microchip falls from his ashes. And that's when we find out it's a brain.
Yeah, the big brain was controlling the clones through microchips, and it, once again, it just felt weird, and like it didn't matter because he's a big fucking brain.
And a giant brain all along.
Yeah, also, I don't remember how they got off the island during the carpet bombing and the nukes.
I remember. So what happened was They get out of the facility via a weird ladder, and then they don't really leave.
Oh yeah,
Fujiko just like kisses him, and then the credits is just like, oh no,
Yeah.
Fujiko gets out because Jigen and Goemon come through with a
Yes,
fucking
with
plane or some shit.
yes,
But
the
only grab
biplane. They fly
Fujiko.
in with the biplane,
Hmm.
and Lupin and Fujiko grab on. Like Lupin grabs on, then grabs Fujiko's hand, and then they just hold on as they fly off into the sunset in the biplane. Also, yeah, I forgot to mention as the
Well,
rocket is
well,
launching.
Yeah, so
that's yeah. Actually, Fujiko did fly off into the sunset. Lupin did not manage to grab on, and he ends up having to run away with
then you
Yeah,
got
Zenigata.
that's
it because
right.
they're
And then it just ends amidst the explosions. No, that's right. I was thinking of when Lupin jumped onto the ladder and grabbed Fujiko's hand.
Yeah,
yeah.
The initial
good
ladder.
one.
And yeah, I forgot to mention that during the rocket escape, as the rocket is starting to fly off and ascend, Lupin and Fujiko are fucking clambering up a ladder the whole way up the fucking tube.
They snake eater the fuck out of that so fast.
Yeah.
Like I guess we as humans can out climb
A rocket.
rockets.
A literal fucking rocket.
I guess we all have Resident Evil 6 fucking agility or some bullshit.
But like the fact that we keep just like kind of forgetting and remembering things and how none of it seems to make sense sequentially. Yeah, it's this movie.
Yep. Yep.
That's
Like
the
a lot
movie.
happens, and I'm gonna be real. At one point, I did kind of check out for a little bit.
Yeah, this movie's an hour and a half long.
But
it's
it
like
just happens.
right. It's a check. It's like, but it's not like a bad checkout where you're like, "Wow, this movie's super boring." Your brain just kind of flows for a little bit, much like when you see Lupin's inner thoughts, and all he thinks about is literal boobs, Zenigata, Fujiko in that
Pop
And
rocks.
Zenigata's boobs, yes.
in that order.
Also an hour and 42 minutes.
Mm. Maybe those 12 minutes were what we hallucinated.
Maybe. All right. So, did you have any other thoughts?
Oh yeah, that's right. The one other thing is that before they start running from the explosions, Zenigata fucking clamps Lupin's ankle with fucking handcuffs, and then they three-legged race away from the explosions into the end credits.
Yeah.
Which, man, they're incredibly in sync, which, you know what, fits, because there's nobody else those two know better than each other.
Yep.
It's true. Maybe they
Also,
help
Zenigata
hands.
does fucking nothing the whole movie.
He just finds Lupin and that's about it. He gets a bonus for it though. His boss is like, "Hey, you did find him." You
Yeah,
know,
but
so
his boss also tells him to fucking quit.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing was is that the description they say is like, oh, you're off the case because this is involving like the head of the two buttons that Mamo has on his thing are US and USSR,
Yeah.
which are like
Not Japan.
Yeah, not Japan. This is now an international incident involving nukes. We are now off this, and other people are doing it.
Yeah, and then Zenigata's just like, "But I'm the only one that can find Lupin." And his boss
Which
is
isn't
like, "But
wrong.
right."
It's
He's like,
actually
"They
very correct.
right." He's like, "You're right, but this is about nukes now, dog. This isn't just about Thief Boy and his golly jolly band of hooligans." But Zenigata doesn't care.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a fuck. He takes that money and goes.
Yep.
After having a very nice dinner with his boss.
It was
Mhm.
very. I mean, his boss was proud of him. He was like, "Listen, we're
Yeah,
gonna have
the
a nice
commissioner
dinner."
was great. Like he fucking loves Zenigata.
He's like, "Yo, you did your fucking job, dog. I can't fucking ask for more."
He's
I
like
said,
the
"Go
only
find him."
person who ever respects Zenigata.
Mm-hmm. Bless his heart.
Yep.
Only Zenigata respected Zenigata.
Look, I mean, say what you will, even though he's bad at the follow through, the man is absolutely fucking incredible at tracking down Lupin.
It's true. If you need to find Lupin, you know who to hire.
Yeah.
Fucking bloodhound trained on a son.
Finding Lupin.
Capture. That's
Yeah.
when you're in fucking accord. Fucking good luck.
Yeah. He is perfect at finding Lupin. Capturing it, kind of bad at it.
Yeah, maybe just keep an eye on him. You know, maybe just give up. It might be you're wasting time trying to catch that thing.
Lupin is a force of nature.
Right? Do we try to fucking hunt? Fucking
Also-
what's your name? What's a mystery lady that's always leaving? Carmen San Diego. See, she's always gone. I forgot her fucking name. You just gotta let her move like a force of nature.
I do want to say also the entire fucking movie, Jigen's like, yo, Lupin, stop thinking with your dick. Lupin's like, no.
No.
Lupin and Goemon or not Lupin. Jigen and Goemon are both very
Yeah,
much.
well, stop thinking with your dick. But like, Jigen's a lot more vocal about it.
I
Yes.
love how vocal Jigen is to fucking Fujiko. He's just like, can I come hang out with you? No.
No, I don't fucking trust you. You've screwed us so many times.
But Jigen, Fujiko's not bad anymore. I don't give a shit. You can go fuck off with your two, Lupin.
Have you not? Is this the 25th time that you're gonna fall for this?
The answer is yes.
Yes, gotta make it an even number.
Also, there's a lot of titty.
Yeah, that's
So
the thing
much
I was gonna bring
titty.
up is that there's not a lot of people remember the fact that in like Lupin the Third Part 2, there was a lot actually titty in the show. There's a lot of titty in
There's
this.
so much titty. It starts with titty. There's a big middle moment with titty, and then it ends with the big old titty moment where you
I'd like
press
to
the
point
titty.
out the thing that I was going to mention about those missile launches is that they time the animation of them the missile starting to launch is Lupin pressing down or like pulling down like Fujiko's dress, poking her tit, and then it's timed with the U.S. people like army like pressing the button to launch the nukes.
He pokes her nipple like it's the launch button.
Yes.
Like,
And to be fair, at one point, Fujiko does have to hit a giant button that looks like a nipple.
Yep.
She does.
Also, there's a scene that they don't really elaborate on that she's found in a desert, and it's like, oh, Mamo came and attacked me, and they whipped me, and they show her being whipped in her catsuit, and the back of the catsuit just explodes, exposing her ass. It looks really dumb.
Fucking exploded completely. It was great.
Why would
Also,
you wear exploding clothes?
there's another bit is like the movie opens with a shower scene and her just vibing in bed, and it never really tries to explain it and doesn't care to.
Nope.
You don't get a Parasite Eve 2 explanation in this one. Just there she's doing it.
Yeah, she's being
Showering
filmed
now.
in the shower, like almost like, oh, I see what you're almost subtext right there. You're just being filmed because hey, this shower scene exists just so we can see you naked. Also, of course, there's a scene in which they look at Lupin's mind, which is there is a lot of like multiple like cutouts of like naked women, like just constantly covering the screen and Fujiko naked.
Boots forever.
Also pop rocks for some reason.
I swear to God, we better get some like just full on 99% naked Jigen from any Lupin entry from now on, just to make up for all this.
I don't think they ever showed Jigen naked.
I don't know. They showed his face, and he's pretty handsome. Let's see what else he's got. Fujiko can't be the only one out here. Not in the 2020s.
You do also see Lupin's ass at one point, which is in
You
the
don't
very
care about
uncomfortable
his
scene.
skinny ass.
Yeah,
His
that is
skinny ass.
He's almost Hank Hill.
His shovel butt.
His fucking knobby knees.
Yep. Anything else you want to bring up?
No, I think I mostly went over like what went on and all that, even if it was a little bit messy and all over the place, much like this movie.
Yeah, just kind of like this movie. It's fine.
I think my last thing is I like when Jigen is getting harassed by that man, he doesn't say, I don't swing that way. He says, hey buddy, you're not my type.
Yeah, it just straight up says, yeah, you're not my type.
You're too tall for me. I don't like these tall, lanky boys.
One of the things that's semi-subtle in the series, that's actually in the Japanese version too, it's not just an English thing, very much implying that Jigen is gay.
As he should be. I too would be very angry and practice shooting a lot if my straight thief friend couldn't keep his dick out of shit long enough
Yeah, I was
for me to
gonna
get my
say
money.
Jigen in the struggle of pining. Jigen in the struggle of pining for a straight boy.
He's like, please just keep your dick out long enough for me to get my feelings out and also get this money. I'm just trying to get this money. Get that check.
To be fair, Jigen is like the best fucking partner that Lupin could ever ask for. They've been through thick and thin. They're fucking great together.
That's true.
And once again, Jigen is straight up the voice of reason, and also packing fucking heat.
It's true. Lifts that
Yep.
thing off like Speed Racer. Just blame him.
Yep. All right. Yeah. My general thoughts on it's like I thought it was okay. Like it. There's I don't really have anything to add because I think we kind of went over everything, but I thought it was okay.
Cool.
Um,
Gets
there is one other thing that I feel like needs to be mentioned. There's a lot of flashing in this. Like there is a lot of photosensitive
oh
issues
yeah.
in this movie. There's like 2 scenes in particular that are extremely bad about it.
Yeah, it's bad with flashing titty, it's bad with flashing your face with lights. It's not
Lights.
fun.
Very much multiple colors showing on screen and also white and black flashing. Like it's kind of unpleasant in some spots. But yeah, with that, is there any other point that we'd want to bring up? All right. So I think we can kind of rank this at this point. So we are going to rank this with our number 1 to 21 scale, with 1 being absolute mastercraft and 21 being not even worth watching. It is painful to watch and just not very good. So, Donut, where would you put this?
Now that we've discussed it in length and
Yeah.
talked about our collective fever dream of a significant part of the movie,
It
I
was
was
like, really quick, I will say it's of a time. Like a lot of fucking anime movies had this problem for around this time.
they
Like
do.
fucking, I remember the Space Cobra movie being a hot mess.
Yes.
I still really enjoyed it. So I would say honestly I'll give it a 9.
You think a 9?
I'll give it a 9.
All right. Turbo, what are you thinking?
Well, let's see. I was thinking like 6 or 7, honestly. You know what? How would you compare this to Cobra?
That's what my thing was going to go is like, I kind of now realizing I think I like Cobra more than Lupin. Like
At
as
least
a
early
character.
Lupin. Later
I think,
Lupin
yeah.
stuff does get a lot better, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like I would say like the really good Lupin stuff I would definitely say is better, but I feel like this in like the show Lupin, I feel like I'd much rather watch Cobra because Cobra is actually kind of a very similar thing. I just feel like Cobra is a lot like this. Cobra is generally consistent throughout the
He's
adaptations.
a lot more even-headed a character.
Yeah, which I feel like the like I like good Lupin stuff. I like it more than Cobra, but like the stuff that's like, and not to say this is bad, but like the slightly more like older kind of weaker characterization Lupin stuff, I prefer Cobra over. And I would say that this definitely qualifies in the kind of weaker characterization. I I was thinking under 6,
Yeah.
so under
So then
Cobra.
to draw the bottom, this or Digimon? How about this or Area 88?
Uh, well, first off, what would you put it just for the
I was thinking like 7 or 8.
7 or 8?
Personally.
And yeah, I was actually thinking 8. I was thinking 7. But I actually would be good with I am actually good with anything between 7 and 9. Basically covering the entire blue basically the good
Yeah, like once again, it's a
tier.
good movie. It's just it's definitely got some issues.
Now that you think about it, I feel like yeah, let's take a I'm thinking like let's see the 8. Let's see, in 8 we got Area 88, the OVA, Digimon the movie, Sweet Home, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles season 1.
Off topic real quick. Sweet Home on Netflix is pretty cool.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's
out.
not. I kind of wish that it was.
Who
like they
knows?
somehow
Maybe
got
one
it.
day.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. Keep
Yeah,
hoping.
maybe.
so like the big comparison I would say is Area 88 in this. And I'm
Yeah.
not quite sure which. You know what? I'd say they're about on par.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you can really compare Area 88 to this because it's such a tonal difference.
Yeah, but I mean it's sort of like in era and style and like
Oh,
I
and
don't know.
in Era, yeah. Well, if I look at like 7 and look at like East, there's not really any. let's see. What at 9? Do we have? Let's see. At 9, we got East 2, Tron, Pirates Dark Water.
I would watch
Looking
this
at
over Tron.
Yeah, looking over the stuff that we have in 9, I feel like I'd rather watch this than majority of that.
I think 8's a good spot for it personally.
Yeah, I'm
I think
feeling
8 is acceptable.
Yeah, I'm feeling an 8. This is a good watch. It is not particularly great. It's definitely not bad though.
Yeah, it's a good watch. Not gonna knock your socks off, but it's pretty alright.
Yep.
Anyways, I'd rather my socks be on anyway.
Yep.
True.
I lied,
Warm.
actually. I don't wear socks. I'm
Yeah,
always
that's what I was going to
barefoot.
say.
No.
Also, I almost put in Secret of Nim, but that's
You know,
different.
once you get above the age of 25, you're allowed to wear socks with your sandals.
I'm above the age of 25.
Well, then guess what, buddy?
I'm gonna go around the house barefoot.
No, you better put on those socks and sandals.
No.
I'm not wearing sandals in my house.
Yeah, okay, so first off, I fucking hate
Listen.
sandals.
When you all step on glass,
Shut the fuck up.
don't
How fucking dare you?
don't come crying.
How
don't
dare you
come-
here in Lolo's own home?
Don't come crying. Just remember.
And I don't have any loose Legos or anything. Let's see. Let me get the what's it dudes. As I fill this out, got to get the guy's name. There you are. Copy. Paste. This did come out in theaters. Oh, what? Genre. I mean, it is. I mean, it is a crime movie technically.
Yeah.
And
And Adventure Ho could also be fitting, but yeah.
Possibly.
No, I would say
I'd say whimsical.
I'd say cartoony maybe, but no.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
criminal
crime
or-
and
Yeah.
thinking crime and silly, I think, is a good pairing.
Silly crime.
Silly crime.
Silly
Yeah. Okay, content.
a hijinks movie.
I'm thinking slightly problematic, photosensitivity, and definite titty.
Titty. This big old titty. Big titty Tifa.
Let's see.
Everyone's favorite.
Anything to call out in music, charm, cinematography, storytelling, art, action, and art.
I would say at the very least, like the music was good. It's definitely got charm. I thought stylistically it looked good, even if like the animation was kind of weird at some points.
There is some weird things about the art. Actually, I'm going to do cinematography over art. Fujiko looks weird in this.
Sure
It
do.
was weird. I'd also say a thumbs up for charm though.
Oh yeah, definitely charm. Action. One, there wasn't a whole lot of action, and two, I don't know if it's really done.
A lot of the action is like blink and you miss it, or like one and done.
Yeah, like not to say that it's boring, but like the action is just kind of, it's like not the thing that.
Yeah, it's never a focus. It's always just part of a scene.
There really isn't like a fight scene. It's not like Castle Cagliostro where there is a very key fight scene.
No. Once again, like the biggest fight scene would be the Goemon fight, and even that's just over very fast.
Yeah, that's a Ninja Gaiden opening.
It's like an RPG. The fights are serviceable. They get the story to where they need to go.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything to call out for yay or nay?
So nay is Voyager is the XDs, isn't it?
Oh, yep. I didn't get that one there. Because yeah. Let's see. I don't know if I'd call the length.
The length was fine, but it wasn't amazing. I know there's something I'm looking for. I wouldn't quite say what the hell is going on, but like just barely not.
Yeah. Let's see. I feel. I know it's not sluggish, but I feel like there's something to say about the pace of the movie.
The pacing is off.
It's off.
Yeah, I think I'd put that. Yeah, boy, it was the XDs and pacing weirdness.
Yeah, too many repeated plot points and makes it a little confusing when they jump from one area to the next, and you feel like there should be more explanation, but there wasn't. You're just here now.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So yeah, that'll do it for us discussing the Secret of Mama. So before we go, Donna, is there anything you want to plug?
You know what? I'm going to plug a friend today. We'll also plug myself as always if you want to check me out or check out whatever show I will be on. Check me out on Twitter at donut_secret. If you are looking for a new beard product for your fancy beards and or mustaches, maybe consider checking out Can You Handlebar, a product I personally use. They make a lot of beard lotions, waxes, oils, stuff like that. They have wonderful scents, and the dudes that sell them are pretty wonderful people. Check them out on Instagram, Twitter, wherever you can. That's Can You Handle Bar.
All right, Torpo.
Twitch.tv/torpotypist and @torpotypist on Twitter. And I would like to plug the gaping holes in the plot.
All right. Well, that'll do it for Lupin the Third. Next time we got a pretty big one. In fact, our return because we haven't done in a while, but we are returning to take a look at a series. We're starting our look at the what was it, 1995, whatever. Let's see, when did this come out? We're taking a look at. Come on. 1994 Mega Man cartoon. We've taken a look at some Mega Man stuff already, but this is the one that most people probably remember. So we are taking a look at season 1, and it's going to be our first look at it. So strap in for that one. That's going to be a fun one. So with that, thank you all for listening.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Have a wonderful time.
If you would like to look at the full list of rankings for yourself, please visit r3.ldp.life and go to the Media Delta List tab. If you would like to watch Media Delta's sister show, Retro Rank Rhapsody, you can either watch at youtube.ldp.life or by tuning into twitch.tv/loadedpuzzlo at 7:30 p.m. on Fridays, 2:30 p.m. on Saturdays, and 1 p.m. on Sundays. All those times are from the Eastern U.S. time zone. If you would like to discuss this episode with the community, you can do so by joining our Discord server, which you can do so by going to discord.ldp.life. Thank you again for listening, and I hope you tune in for our next episode.